Go inside, under. Ask someone from the front line. Right. I will get a chair. I heard that. I heard that. I'm getting a chair. Diane, we're good to go whenever you are. Okay, so they're ready to go. Diane can start, and then we'll move to Zoe. You don't have to turn on your camera. Put that one to there. Move that one there. Oh, I just walked around. So this needs to go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Land as Teacher Summer Solstice Celebration, brought to you by the York Region Nature Collaborative, the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, with the generous funding of the Canadian government. Coming to you live in the rain from the Courtright Center for Conservation and the site of the Nature School, which we would have been there had it not been such a rainy day. But we're here and we're thrilled to be here on a National Indigenous Peoples Day, June 21st. So I am the coordinator of the York Region Nature Collaborative. I am also a registered early childhood educator in the province of Ontario and a retired ECE professor. And it's significant that I'm here for me because this day is about the children. It's about all children, my grandchildren, everybody's children. And we are so thrilled that there are so many people here with kids. I know that there's plenty of teachers zooming in and sharing their screen in this crazy pandemic time of virtual learning with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children. My own grandson, I think, will be amongst them throughout the morning. So we are coming to you live through Zoom. We are coming to you live through YouTube, and we are coming to you through live through Facebook. I will be moderating the chat room. So if you have any questions and if you need anything, just pop it in. Meanwhile, you can tell us who you are, where you are zooming in from, and how you're feeling today. And we will be doing a formal land acknowledgement in a bit, but if you would like to give your own acknowledgement for the land that you're currently on, we welcome that in our chat room as well. So we are going to get started, and I'm going to turn my camera and my mic off, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy, and I hope you do too as well. No, just don't pull on it, eh? It's my ear. Yours okay? Don't pull on it, eh? I think he really likes my earrings. Usually he yanks on them, but he's really looking at them. Yeah, elk. Yeah, elk horn. Oh no, these are just metal, like, I don't know what kind of metal this is. These are like arrows, and then he was looking at this. So I got this from National Geographic, and then I put an applique over it. He was looking at this because usually he just yanks on my earrings. He doesn't actually really observe. Nice. Old now. It's been a while since I had them.
Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Nope. Nope. So it started already, the live stream. So Diane's speaking. The live stream has started. Good to know.
Nobody mess up now. Like, oh,
You're ready.
never done this kind of thing.
Nana Bojo, in the Wemaganadok Nikanisido. Nimoshani no Jamaingan Twana Deshnaka, Swabjation do Demgayani Jini Madeo. Washani Gami no one are singing in the Dunjiba, or Jiboy Body Water Yaga and down in York. Bungi River to go share. And the smoke has already been sent up. We have Sama in our hands, so now we are going to do invitation song. It is a commemoration of our first teacher, Nana Bojo. I was giving this song my last class before I turned 65. And this is the purpose of the song, is to open and gather up all the people for ceremony. So the first part of the song says, Nana Bojo, Ni Nondawa.
Nana Bojo, ni nundawa.
The second part says, Nana Bojo, Ni Wabama.
Nana Bojo, ni wabama.
The third part says, Nana Bojo, Mi Gwetch Wendam.
Nana Bojo, mi gwetchwenda.
And the fourth part says, Nana Bojo, I treasure you, for all the teachings that you have brought this way for the people. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Ni Nondawa. Nana Bojo, Ni Nondawa. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Mi Wabema. Nana Bojo, Mi Wabema. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Mi Gwetchwenda. Nana Bojo, Mi Gwetchwenda. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo. Nana Bojo, Nana Bojo, Mississaugas. Nana Bojo, Nezadia Nana Bojo 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 all my relations. So at this time, we're going to say all our miigwetches. And we could be here until tomorrow evening if I was supposed to do it right. But we have little time limit as human beings. We're not governed by time anymore. We govern the time, and it's the wrong way around. We should be honoring time as it was given. So our first miigwetches go up too. The first sound we make is Nana Bojo. The second sound we make is Gejamanito. So we start Namach Tamin. Nana Bojo Gejamanito. Kichimi Gwach Wanaminogish got Gamin Gomin. Kichimi Gwach Kinigo Gishich Gamumpi with an Nishnabak with the Matsu. Kichimi Gwach Kinigo Gimi Jang. She's going on Toganan Josh. Don't. Oh, yeah. How Wabanum the King, Kichimi Gwach Kina the Moshnam. Kichimi Gwach Kinu with the Ebimbize. Kichimi Gwach. Pitcha Minuamis Grabaneshi. Kichimi Gwach. Mishomis Gizis Gibanambian Mumpi Nongo. Kichimi Gwach no Mictabiki Gizis Gibabaya Yamampi. Ginada Mokinago Quell Humpi Ajik the Jumke. Kichimi Gwach. Nana Bojo, Kinigo Atso Kana Kibina Mumpi Weweno. Nishnabe, Wimenoban Watsini. Nahami Gwach, Kichimi Gwach. Jawinung the King, Chimi Gwach, Ginada Moshnam Pune. Ginu with the Epimbase, Kichimi Gwach. Kichimi Gwach. Zigwan. With the Enani, Gwach, Chimi Gwach, Kinigo Gimija. Gwach, Kichimi Gwach. Wash Geshi with the Enani, with Kichimi Gwach. Kichimi Gwach, my Ingan, Kichimi Gwach. Wawa Bignoji. Now, Migwach, Kichimi Gwach. Giwed nung the king, Chimigwachki not mokinegoshin, Shabaki with it. Kichimigwach nimki benes with the Ebin Bizaki, not mokinego quawa. We went agree object tomin. Nibbe. We went agreement in do Kevin. How Migwach, Kichimigwach. Chimashkudin Bijike with the Anani, but Chimigwachki not mokinego quawa, come when agree object tomin Monda. Mishigeke, we went agree. Minado Kemin. Migwach, Kichimigwach. Giwed num the king, Chimigwach, Kinot the Moshnam. Kichimigwach. Bibon Abeg, Inot the Modo Market, we were in bar. Kichimigwach. Chawapshka go ko. Kichimigwach, Chawapshka. KK. Kichimigwach. Chawapshka bine. Now. Chimushche wapshka what with the Amadbe Chimigwachki not walking with Schnabe. Oxygamike Ajik. Ibok Nagazwat. Chimigwachki not walking with Schnabe. Go in, we wish to see what number. Go in and Dasi Wakoja. Kichimigwachki not walking a Gabanoji Aglampia Ajik to don't get in can go. Chimigwachki Mina. Niba, Bijam, Mishkeka, Mino Zagedun, Nahamigwach, Kichimigwach. Ichimigwech kinigo. Wash gives a what? And we see ya going Dr. Oxysemen. Now miigwech, gichimigwech. Dodoma cat. To our beautiful Mother Earth, we extend our greatest appreciation. Gichimigwech. Dodoma cat. Gichimigwech. Niba. Gichimigwech mijim. Gichimigwech mishkeka. Gichimigwech. Dedegijik minuha dodoma cat. When the queen is there, women. Now miigwech. Gichimigwech. Name inge aje kichimigwech kinadamo dodoma cat. When the queen is there. Now can you go and see up with the air? When they don't share suck. Can never go kali, can never go. Maki. Chimaki. Can you go? Gigo yak gichimigwech. Can you go? Mitik waskuni son. Gichimigwech. Gichimigwech. Can you go away see yak? Gichimigwech. Can you go beneshiak? Beneyak. Gichimigwech. Chishbiming. Gichimigwech wawasnude. Gichimigwech. Nimki napkawagan. Gichimigwech. Gichitamikan. Now how mishom sinanik nok misnanik with the amadabiek wendani maknam din. Din yan mampi. Nadam hoshnam. We do kushnam jamina mishnam. Hajawina mishnam jamina dojawina 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 mishnam. Nikanigana. Nikan is kinigo all my relations. And that was just a small part of our miigwetches. I could run through the English part if you like, but it's going to take time. And like I said before, we don't control the time. It controls us. So we're going to forego the English part. You're going to have to keep on coming to ceremony to hear the English part. You can ask Hopi all the English part, and he'll tell you. He's a really good student. So that is it for Anishinaabe opening. It includes awe. We recognize that spirit will pay attention to us because we sent up the smoke. And we told them, we informed them just by sending up the smoke that we were doing something special. We hold tobacco in our hand because it is the way we follow East Coast, Georgian Bay, Anishinaabe, the Saman and Thumb. Tobacco first. Nothing happens without tobacco. You could pay me $1 million if you didn't give me Sama. I couldn't do what you requested. We need to have Sama. And it is our way of reciprocity, giving something ahead. I think Nishnawbe call it pay ahead. Right? So that's what we're doing here. We're saying all of this so that our relatives will have a good passing into spirit world. That we will have a good passing into spirit world. We send up that beautiful song that invited everyone to come here. Not only human beings, but all the tree spirits and the grass spirit. All the spirits of those birds and the animals. We say Gichimigwech for all the help that they give us here. And we extend our appreciation to even the ones that we don't know and are not recognized by humans. And then we say up our miigwetches. Miigwetches for everything and everybody. So this little humble feather is going to go around. You're going to say your name, where you're from, who you are, and how you're feeling. And my name is Jacque Lavalley, and I'm feeling good today. I feel happy all the time, but this is a special day. We're celebrating the history and the culture of First Nations people here on Turtle Island, Mijikiam, and saying, this is our day. But you know something, to Anishinaabe, every day is our day. We hold that day close to our body. And we say, Gichimigwech for the sunshine. And how miigwech, Gichimigwech.
Nana bonjour.
Nana bonjour.
Nemki binesi Nikwe, Indigenous. Gugundo Dam, Msagigan Dinjaba. My name is Laura. I'm very happy to be here with Miss Jacque, Hopi, and everyone else that we know. I'm here very happy to celebrate the Indigenous Day. It's a special day to us, and let's hope that we have everything what we wish: health, peace, protect our children, protect Mother Earth, and all our friends and family. Get you miigwech. I'll pass the credit to Vivian.
Narabujo, Bekasan Quagging the go, she can do them. We can come getting on Jabba, started quagging down. Manade Namgani can wego, Quitchman and Abangi, you can now we can Amaga, which is not Amaga, getting London being a king, we can Amaga, you know, on the National Indigenous People. Among Bangi, and we're going to celebrate this beautiful day. And I'm so honored to always become a part of the teachings on Mother Earth. Mother Earth is very, very important to us. And last week we had a ceremony out at Lake Ontario to honor the waters and Mother Earth as part of our celebration.
What Conradu, Ojiketa, Niungats, Wahuaho, Haga, French, Scottish, Cree, Wendat, Niwagu, Wanjota, Jogging the Wageno, Zit Kaludo Genakele, Ganek Haga de Measta. My name is Candy, and I am Wolf Clan. That's not. French and Scottish and Cree, and of the people of the Flint, which is the actual name to Mohawk. And I said thanks and love and respect to everyone here now. And I'm from the place where they split, otherwise known as Montreal, the actual name. And I live here now where the trees or the sticks stand in water, which actually refers to a really old fishing lure that's, I believe, over 10,000 years old. And this used to be very marshy land. There's different interpretations. And then I said I'm learning to speak my language. Now, Chimigwach for having me here. And I don't really have anything else to say.
Peter.
Oh yeah, my baby.
Yes.
Let's Howie.
Howie.
I got real shy.
I'm Daryl Gray. I'm the Director of Education and Training here at Colorado Conservation Authority, but more importantly, I'm a resident of this area. I grew up not far from here. I live now in Market, about half an hour from here. But my connection to this area is, it's important to me and my family for generations we've been part of it. But we hadn't really considered what that connection to the land meant and those people that came before us. So a day like today, while I'm going to acknowledge the land that we're on, I also want to acknowledge the fact that I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I get it right. But this is also important for me to get right. That I need to be here to listen this morning, to hear from all of you and to learn from all of you, so that myself and my kids, and I can help my parents and other generations understand how important this is for us as people and as a community to learn from those that came before us and those that will walk with us into the future. So I appreciate this opportunity and for you welcoming me into this as I learn from all of you. So I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. But although we find ourselves geographically dispersed today meeting here on this online environment, I'd like to begin by recognizing that we all work, live, and gather on traditional Indigenous territory. We respectfully acknowledge that the lands we are situated on are traditional territories and treaty lands, in particular those of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, of the Williams Treaty First Nations, the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and are now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. Though our work with land and water resources within the Greater Toronto Region TRC appreciates and respects the history and diversity of the land and is grateful to have the opportunity to work and meet in this territory. We also invite you to acknowledge the traditional territories and treaty lands in your local area, wherever you may be, and encourage you to explore the interactive map at nativeland.ca. So again, I want to thank you for having us here today and welcoming me into this with you, and continuing to engage us in learning from all of you so that we can make a better world together. Thank you very much.
I'm Peter Wilson. I love these gatherings. That I've been to a number of them already, and I think the last one here was with the helping to put the wigwam together initially. That was a real challenge, but we've had a lot of fun with that, and I really enjoy this, and I count it a privilege to be able to be here, just to be in the circle. And helping out Gerard with his with his firekeeping. So I find this there are very few times and places where these kinds of connections can be made, and you can feel the how important it is, and feel the connection with the land so clearly, and so I want to thank you for having me as a guest here.
Bonjour. Nebi, Witwen, Nene Indishnakas, Mus Nindodem, Wamadongi, Anishinaabe, Wewin, I'm going to say it in English because I have a hard time. Yeah, Wenda. My name is Gérard Boudreau. I'm from the east. I was born in New Brunswick and raised in Gaspé-Wagy, is the 7th district of the Mi'kmaq. And my background is Mi'kmaq, Abenaki, Algonquin, and also French Acadian. And I'm so pleased to be here to be able to take care of the fire for today and a generation to come. Yeah, and very pleased. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Martin, and my ancestors are settlers from Italy, France, Scotland, Ireland. And I'm honored to be here in the circle with this group of people. And I feel really joyful that we can do this. Miigwech.
Nanabojo, Gajana Nana Dishnakas, Wabjeshi Dodem Gaye. My other given names are Hopi Level Martin. I was born in Massachusetts along the Housatonic River to ancestry of Lenape, Briton and European. But it's here in this context of the Garanto, the sacred territory of the Anishinaabe, the Chionondade, Tobacco Nation, the Wendat, the Seneca, the Haudenosaunee, and that's currently in the care of the Mississaugas of the Credit. It's in this context that I belong to Wabajishi, that's the Ojibwe Martin clan, through my auntie and traditional teacher, Jacque Lavalley. And it's through her teachings and really, and her sharing them in this context and with me over these last number of years, that she's taught me and everybody here to walk with that Samanatum, tobacco first. And so I just wanted to say a little bit about that most sacred medicine, because without that, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have any of this that we're sharing. And I'm just so grateful to be able to talk with that in my hand and to learn that kind and gentle path. There's a big long story about that sacred tobacco, and that's beyond probably what we can share right now. But a little bit of that story is when that first Anishinaabe came from Skyville beside Gajeminado. And he saw how beautiful Mother Earth was, the Domake. He was so taken by her beauty, he didn't want to hurt her. And so he pointed his toes so he could walk gently and touch her gently. And when he did that, the first thing that his toes touched, instead of stomping on everything, was this little plant of Sama that was growing. And in touching that plant, that was the first thing that his toes touched in coming and touching Mother Earth. And so that plant got spread all over this part of the world. And the teaching that goes with it is to always offer that, to give thanks first, as reciprocity, as kindness, before taking anything. And that's a really beautiful way to walk, is to give and to give thanks, as you just heard Grandma Jacque share all those words of thanksgiving, to give that first before we do anything. And so in holding that and offering that, we're thinking about that and walking in that gentle way for those little ones and teaching them that way. So all this work here with Land as Teacher has been about trying to remember and bring back those traditional teachings. In Anishinaabe, it's called Kinomage. Teaching's called a Kinomage, which means looking to Mother Earth. Ake, Dodam Ake. And so in looking to Mother Earth and looking with kindness, in looking with gentleness, and in walking with thankfulness and gratitude, and doing that first, that's what we want to share with our little ones, and to teach them that kind way. And so all this work has come about because of that. Every fire that we've set, every ceremony we start, the beautiful wigwam that you might see a little bit later over there, every tree that came forward for that started by asking with Sam. And everybody who's here has been gifted that same and has been asked in that way to come and to share in this beautiful work. So in doing that, we're trying to renew that old time protocol. And in sharing that with each in our hands, everybody's part of that. We hope that everybody who's listening and watching can relate in that way. And if you have those teachings, maybe you can go put some same on the ground in that way, from wherever you are, or on the water, as we're going to do a little later. The other important thing to remember when we're doing this is that we're thinking about those ones who didn't make it home, who are finally getting returned. And this work of making a bush school or a nature school, so the kids are out touching the earth every day, so they have connection to this medicines. All this was outlawed and taken from the people. So in doing this work, these are taking those kind and gentle and persistent, resurgent steps back in that direction, so that those little ones have that safety and protection and can connect with Mother Earth right from birth. And so I just wanted to mention those young ones, and I know that's gotten the attention of a lot of people now, which is really good. And so in offering that Sema to the fire and sending up this prayer, this honoring, I wanted to be sure to talk about that. So Gitchi Miigwech for joining us, Gitchi Miigwech for listening. And in a short time, I'm hopeful that Cheif Laforme of the Mississaugas will be able to join us. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass this feather back to Fultonus. Gitchi Miigwech.
Nana bonjour, Miwa. It is at this time that we think about what is happening right now on this planet. And it's not good. And no matter how hard we try, we'll never get back the old way. But we can keep this. This is what we're entitled to keep. We're in charge of our own ceremonies. We are in charge of our medicines. We are in charge on how they are conducted. And if your ceremonies are not conducted with sama, with tobacco, sacred tobacco in our hands, nothing happens. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell the people that your words aren't going anywhere if you don't hold this in your hand. Well, it takes people like Vivian and Hopi, Sarah, and Laura, and Gerard to hold this in our hand. We hold it for everyone, not just for ourselves, not just for our blood, but for everyone on this planet. Those ones who don't remember the old way, the ones that went to residential school without any of this, that they're picking up now. And some of them can never pick it up. They've already made their journey through this doorway. And all we can do is say, get your miigwech to them for the time that they spent here with us. So we're going to sing a journey song, and it's for these ones that went out this doorway. And it is called the Women's Traveling Song. And we're not going to use any instruments. Maybe the baby can hold the instruments for us. But we try to do it in the most natural of ways. He just tossed his shaker. Said, never mind. Never mind. So we're going to share this song for all of those ones who are making their journey here, who have just passed through this doorway. All our loved ones. Bejik, Nish, Swaf, Nin. Way hey hey oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey 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 oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey 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 oh. Way hey 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 oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey hey oh. Hey 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 oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey hey oh. Way hey 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 oh. Hey 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 oh. Miigwech. Miigwech. Uh-huh. Is it for the ceremony?
So we're going to bring this over.
Okay. If you want to put your sama on the fire, you need to undo it first. And hope he tied them so they're not really tight. You just open it up so you're presenting your tobacco to all of creation. And it's accompanied by this beautiful cloth. It's called cotton cloth. Anishinaabe call it Nindoigan, spirit cloth. And it is the cloth that we use to wrap up our tobacco. It's a gift of love from a young Anishinaabe person to his new wife. He didn't want her to get old and wrinkled. So he saw how the white men tore this cloth, that he could tear it really straight. So he thought to himself when he watched all the settler women come running when they heard about this cloth. So when they finished, he went over there and he spoke to the guy and he said he'll trade all his hides for the rest of his stuff. So he traded all his hides for this beautiful cotton cloth. In his thoughts, where his woman would never get old and wrinkled like she would from tanning hides. He said that was what aged the women most, is how hard they worked. And they worked so hard. He didn't want that for his wife. He wanted to maintain her loveliness forever into the future. So it was a gift of love. So we use it to wrap up our most sacred medicine. This is our number one most sacred medicine. It's not cedar, it's not sage, it's not sweetgrass, it is sema. Chitawa, chitawa, mshkeka, sacred medicine. So I'm going to put mine on the fire. You can do likewise, or you can't. You can hold it in your pocket and keep it for a year and then do this. You can put this, you can call up the wind. If there's no fire, if there's no water, you can call up the wind and throw your sama up in the air and the wind will catch it and carry it to where it's supposed to be. You can put it on the water and let it go, continue its journey right to the ocean. You can put it on the fire for all of the people who have passed through this way before us. And you could put it on the ground to honor Mother Earth. You put it on the ground where no dogs are going to shit. Right? That is the long time ago saying. We don't have dogs around our ceremony for that purpose. They dirty stuff. They don't know the people way. So they're not allowed to come here. Plus, there's an old story that says when the wolf was split up from the Anishinaabe person, he was told to take this sacred walk is for you. And he put the Anishinaabe in it on that path. He put wolf over here. It said, this is your path. This is where you walk, right? You do not walk on the same trail together anymore. So in our ceremonies, we don't have dogs because of that story. They were given a different way. We never, as human beings, go to dog ceremony. I don't think we've ever gone to it. Vivian, have you gone to it?
I never
How
went
about
to see any more ceremony.
Neither me. Neither me. So we put the stemma on the fair to commemorate our way as the Anishinaabe people on this special day, the longest day of the year. It is where Mishomis Jesus looks at us for a longer time. He blesses us on this beautiful day, even if he's hiding behind the clouds. He's saying you don't want those Anishinaabe people to suffer from sunburn. Miigwech. Don't know how I'm going to make this over here. Oh, I'm so skinny.
He likes the word sweaty sticky. He likes my word sweaty sticky.
Candy, go put your stem on. Give her some sema. She got some. You're still doing this stuff. The men. Ninawook. It's all right. I'll be there. Helpers can fly around the lodge, so here we go. Fly. So we've got 10 minutes if you want to speak. If anybody wants to speak, it's fine. Would you like to say something, Laura? If you don't want to say anything, just pass it around.
This place here, it's very special to me. Every time I come here, I get emotional. I help to build the lodge for the next generation. It's hard to explain what I feel here. I feel calm. I feel surrounded with good things around me, good spirits. It's a pleasure that I made it today to be here with everyone. Woo! For this special day, the Indigenous Day. I know it's a long road for me to go ahead to teach my children, my grandchildren, the future generation. And I'd like to thank you, everyone, that they are here with us, especially Miss Jacque and Hopi to invite me to be here to do the celebration for the special day. Kichimegwech.
Bonjour, Pakistan quite getting to go. She can't do that. I just want to say, that today is very, very special. Like every day. I mean, every day that we walk upon Mother Earth is very special, and it's a blessing and an honor to be able to do the work that we've been asked to do, or not even asked to do. We just do it, and that's part of what the being Anishinaabe Odzawin teaches us. Is once we learn these beautiful teachings, we need to pass them on to other people, or we don't just keep them here, keeping them to ourselves. We need to be able to share and spread them beautifully out on Mother Earth and all the people and all the beautiful spirits that come into our circle. So many times our people have been ostracized by our own community and by other colors of people, that it's hard for us to be able to trust and to wonder where we're going to fit in the circle of life. And I see so much of that happening because my parents were residential school. They went to residential school. My mom was in the orphanage, and I went to Indian day school. And I know all of the impacts of colonization. The truth of what really happened to our people is so paramount and so important for our people to know, just as much as everybody else to know. Because our people are out there struggling and wondering who they are and how they became the way they are. And my work takes me to that place of where our lost children that are now adults are still struggling. And it's always been such a blessing for me to be there and help guide them into a beautiful way and welcoming them to the fires, to the medicines, and nurturing their spirit and with love and that kindness and those seven grandfather teachings that we've been entrusted with. I know myself, having grown up, in the foster homes and being an outcast and treated like less than a human being, my elder Tim was making me laugh there the other day when he did the ceremony for us. He says, when I was growing up, we were called Indians, dirty Indians. Then it was Anishinaabe people, and then it was First Nations, and then it was all these different labels, and now I just call myself by my Anishinaabe Nosewin. And all through the generations, we've been labeled with stereotypical wording to describe who we are. And it's our Anishinaabe also in our indigeneity and our connection to Spirit and Mother Earth and the sky worlds and all the beautiful first ancestors that you see here, that we give great gratitude for every day. We've lost that connection, but we know in spirit that something is missing all the time. And then when we find it, we know where we need to stay to be well and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. So I am so appreciating coming out onto the land and helping in any way that I can. So, Jimmy Gwetch.
You share? He wants you to touch his face with it. Touch it with it.
This is Mozilla Howie. I'm honestly just kind of holding the feather for him. Mozilla Howie, he carries fire. My son, he's 6 months and a half now.
He's talking. Oh, yeah. He's really talking.
Mozilla Howie?
You see somebody back there.
Whoops. Okay, there. Go ahead.
He wants to grab it.
Okay. Well, that's all he had to say. And I'm just really... Oh, no. I'm very thankful to be here. Just to be out on the land. It's I really miss it. I'm not a city person at all, and I didn't grow up in the city. So being in the city for like 6 years now is really taking a toll, and it's been hard with like my mental health. City people are very different, very noisy, very stinky. Everything's like people. I'm so not used to just people always on a go that they don't have time to sit with themselves and really like connecting with nature. I think people would be less stressed out if they connected with nature more, and I think people would have more patience with each other, and they would really be listening to each other if they were more connected with nature. So it's nice to be out on the land again, even if it's just for today. Lidzilla Howie, do you have anything else to say? I think he meant to say boy, like it's done.
So Nana Bojo, so Cheif Laforme from Mississaugas to the credit is going to be on the Zoom call. We wish he could have been here, but we've got to take advantage of this distance education when we can. So grateful for him. So Chimigwetch, and we'll put that over to Cheif Laforme.
Here it is.
Oh. And so I can bring you down to the water.
Okay.
Good morning.
You need your drum? No. But your shaker?
Well, it depends.
Hi, Cheif Laforme.
Hi.
You are all good to go.
Oh, just start? Okay, thank you. Ani, Bazoo, Nagani, Nishnabekanini, Cheif Laforme, Disnakas, Credit Dunjaba, Mayinga Dodam, Mississauga, Nishnabe Dal. I'd like to acknowledge the Creator, the world around us, and our place within it. I'd like to acknowledge the many nations that walk this land in the past, the many nations that walk it today, and welcome you to the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe. You know, I was asked this morning to go on a call with CTV to talk about, today, the 21st, solidarity, Indigenous Peoples Day. And I said no. I said I have a commitment that I want to keep. But also I was struggling with the concept because I've had people from my community say that they don't want to take part in today because of the funding of the children under residential schools. And I understand that, there's a lot of pain and hurt connected to that, and a lot of anger, and rightly so. But one thing I told my staff when, who talked about this, I said, we have always faced difficulties since contact, and before there's been difficulties and challenges, but we have never strayed from who we are and our responsibilities to the lands and the waters. And it's important that people see that we are still who we are, that yes, we're in pain, yes, we're grieving, but it doesn't change the fact that we have a responsibility, and it's a responsibility, that we intend to meet. And seeing you this morning gathered in the circle and talking about the land and the city and things, and I only caught the end, but you reminded me of that in this moment. And so if I'm asked again about this day, of course I will talk about the pain and hurt and the trauma of those children and the love we have for them, but I will also tell them that, we are strong, resilient people who have survived much, and we will be here standing for what we believe in, standing beside each other forever. So I just wanted to say that I will offer you a prayer if I could. We give thanks to the Creator for allowing this gathering. We ask that He guide us and forgive us when we falter and disappoint. For though we aspire to greatness, we are all, after all, only human. Grant us a clear mind, a pure heart, and courage. A clear mind to make intelligent, well thought out decisions. A pure heart to make decisions that are without personal bias and desire. And the courage to use both, a clear mind and a pure heart in our lives. Let us set aside small differences. Let us concentrate on real issues. Let us not be bogged down in rhetoric. Let us live each day with a feeling of accomplishment and pride. Most importantly, let us remember we are not adversaries, nor are we enemies. We share a similar past, a kindred spirit, and a common heritage. We must always remember the real reason we gather, to do the right thing for our people, our children, our future. Miigwech. So I was going to talk about Mother Earth and how all things are connected and how we have to do better, but I'm kind of tired. It's been a challenging time. And so instead, I challenge you to do one thing. Instead of thinking of climate change as a problem to be solved, think instead of that. Think instead, Mother Earth is a soul that needs to be saved. If you can do that, if you can shift your mindset, then you will change your world, because all things are so interconnected that if you can accomplish that one thing, that one mindset, it will change everything in your life. It'll change the way you think and process. It'll change the way you interact with people around you, family and friends. Maybe not enough to save this world. But, maybe not enough to change this world, but enough to change your world. And really at the heart of all of this is what it's all about. So I challenge you to do that. And I know that in the moment we can get caught up in that and we go, yes, we're going to do that. And we're going to go forward and we're going to do all these things. But inspiration is fleeting, so we have to hang on to it. But, one thing about inspiration is it never totally disappears. You'll be inspired one day and you'll do things. And then you'll sort of go back into your normal world because change is hard. But inspiration never goes away completely. So one day you'll be doing gardening or walking along, singing a song, and all of a sudden you'll remember that aha moment when you were inspired to do something. And the secret is just pick it up again and do something again. Because change can survive a moment of inspiration, but it can't survive a lifetime of commitment. So that's just my challenge for you. I want to speak briefly about Grandmother Josephine. I only met Grandmother Josephine one time when she was coming through the community. One of the walks they stopped up by and we had them over for water and food. And we talked for like 2 minutes. But I remembered what she was doing, that she walked an estimated half the circumference of the earth, sometimes alone, sometimes with others, sometimes men and women, children, all to raise the awareness of the spirit of the water and what we're doing wrong with the water and how we had to do better. I know there's so many of you just standing there in a circle who do the same thing. And I want to say miigwech for that, just as I say the same thing to Grandmother Josephine, miigwech for all that you do. And anyway, for some reason, much later on, I got to thinking about Grandmother Josephine, and I wrote a poem called Walks Forever Woman that I actually wrote from my thoughts on her perspective. And then after I was finished, and I'm not sure why I wrote it, but I wrote it, something must have been on my mind about water. And I wrote it from what I thought her perspective would be. And then I struggled with, well, now what do I do with this? I mean, this is is it egotistical of me to send it to her? After all, I just wrote something that I think's in her mind. I mean, so I struggled with that for a couple of days. And then finally I said, nope, I wrote this for her. I need to send it to her. So I sent it to her and got to share it with her. And we correspond a little bit a few days before she passed. And it's called Walks Forever Woman. And I wrote it in inspiration from Grandmother Josephine, but I really wrote it for all of you who do so much to raise awareness and who are really committed like this is commitment. I have been called a hero. I have been called crazy. It does not matter what people say, but do not doubt. I have been called. I saw the anguish upon the water, the pain, the hurt. I sat in ceremony with tears streaming. I knew I must do something, and so I asked. Walk, grandmother, sing, dance, ceremony, but walk. So walk I did for the water, sometimes with others, sometimes alone. I thought that once my first walk was done, I would rest, but again I was called. Walk, grandmother. So I walked, and always upon the end of the walk, I thought, now I rest. But the call is not gone, so I walk. This may be the final time my feet travel the earth around the water. Upon my deathbed, they will say, you have done enough, rest. I will smile and nod for them. Yet I know I will continue on this journey, for I still feel the call. I still hear the voice. Walk, grandmother. I sometimes wonder why no one hears the voice of the water. Maybe no one who is alive today remembers. So I will walk, and you may hear my voice, my drum. You may walk by my side, or you may glimpse my passing. This is not a curse. This is a cause. and honor. I will walk for the spirit of the water. I will walk until duty is not forgotten. I will walk until you walk. For I have learned that the voice is walk, but it means lead. So I will walk until you hear and you answer. So stand, grandmothers, grandfathers, parents, children, stand. For you must stand first, and you must stand together, and you must come to understanding. Then you must walk, and I will walk beside you. For even as I pass, I hear the words, walk, grandmother, walk. So, Miigwech, thank you for listening to my little spiel this morning. I wish I could be out there with you. It looks like a really, really nice day. I am under a travel ban for my nation until July 5th. And so that's when I can move about some more. So I wanted to say thank you. One other thing that I must say, though, is, the children that are being found on residential school systems, we will never forget. We will make sure this moment is never forgotten. And this is a chance for the world to come together. There are moments in the life of a country that determine how they go forward. And moments such as these do that. So let's find a path, a good path, and make good choices and find a way to come together. Miigwech, be safe, be heard, Mama P.
Thank you very much, Cheif Laforme. During this time, everybody, we are making a transition towards our water walk. It will be a couple of minutes during this time. Please be patient, and we'll be back very shortly. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Cheif.
teach them how you meet.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vivian Recollect. Everybody knows me as Vivian or Moccasin, which is the name that my granddaughter gave me. You know, when we talk about the different ways that we learn, is one of the most important things that has been a teaching for me as well, because my granddaughter taught me a lot before she even arrived here on Mother Earth. She came from the spirit world and gave me that name, Moccasin. And it's a very important and spiritual name for me. So I always recognize the 4 ways that we've been taught to learn. And that's by watching and observing, like we all do right now. And this is part of what we're doing here. Ceremony already took place up the hill, where we called in the spirits to come and help us, and our spirit helpers, and greeted all of the sky world, the beings up there, the stars, the Milky Way, the thunderbirds. And we also greeted everything on Mother Earth here, the plants, the animals, the trees, the medicines, all of those beautiful things that people never really understand, but think it's beautiful to walk outside in. The presence of our first relatives is so very, very important and integral to who we are as a Anishinaabe people and our Anishinaabe Adzaman, the way of our people. And that's how I have learned. By watching and observing, we get to learn in so many beautiful ways. So second way is through storytelling. What we're doing here is we're telling you the original stories of the people, the truth. The truth has always been amongst one of the most important things that we carry as Anishinaabe people. Honesty and truth. My elder Herb used to talk about that all the time. Really, the 2 keys to life. Very, very important. And that truth is what sets us free to be able to continue on our beautiful human journey that the Creator gave to us so lovingly and without judgment to tell us what to do or how to do it. All of the beautiful things that He gave us were already here so that we can get to use them and take care of them and respect them. And a lot of that has been lost through the impact of colonization, true. And we need to be able to recall those truths of our ancestors. We're not able to walk fully like our ancestors because of technology and where society has taken us today. But we can get pretty close to it spiritually because we know that deep ancestral memories flow through us from our ancestors just as much as that beautiful water flows from the oceans to the lakes to the rivers to the ponds, under the grounds, up from the sky world, from Nimchibanesi, and showers us with that beautiful love. Also, a gentle teaching to remind us that it is okay to cry. Let those tears flow from your eyes. So, you know, that way of storytelling is so very important. And the other way is with true dreams. The dream world is a very integral part of our teaching. When we go into that dream space, like when my granddaughter was in that in the spirit world before she came to me in here, she came into my dream space and told me, Moccasin, I'm on my way. There, short. And it was so profound. I saw her much like this across the river on the other side of the little bridge, and it was so beautiful, so green. The sky was so blue, and it was just so peaceful and tranquil. The sun was just shining down upon everything. And I saw her across the river. She had a beautiful little white dress, and she was barefoot, and she had long hair. And I didn't see her face, but I know that she was a girl. And our intuition is the one that has been lost as well. A lot of times we don't listen to our intuition because we don't connect with it anymore. Because we connect to our GPS, we connect to the gadgets that we use and all of these other things. Well, we need to be able to go into meditation and enhance that gift that was given to us from the beginning of time. And the last way that we learn by is through ceremony. It's like what we had this morning over there, but there are many other ceremonies that we can partake in. The sweat lodge. Fasting.
Fasting will really, really make you appreciate life and also that connection that we have with the whole universe and how tiny, minuscule you are compared to everything. That fasting experience is something that is a really, really personal spiritual journey for those who undertake that. And people think, that fasting we are selfish in what we do. We're not selfish in what we do. We give of ourselves for all of life, for everybody, not just Indigenous people, but everybody, all walks of life when we go fasting. And that time away from food and water also gives you great inner spiritual strength, which comes in that light will radiate from you that you walk with. So I'm so beautifully honored to be able to talk about the water and the journey. As women, we have been entrusted with that gift of taking care of the water. And for a lot of women that don't know, it's because that little baby that was here was carried in her water, in the womb. At the gates of life, we have that molecular fluid that spermidate meat. So we recognize those waters in ceremony. But at full moon time, which is going to be on Wednesday, Thursday this week, all women gather and we celebrate the big Jesus. We give great thanks because she's the one that governs the ocean side and all of the waters are from Mother Earth. And so many, many years ago, let me see, 2003, I think it was when I first did my water walk in Sudbury. Sudbury is known as the only city with a lake in the middle of it. And it was through the knowledge of Grandmother Chofi that with that walk all those Great Lakes to honor and respect water and to show the woman our responsibility. So we have a great respect for the woman that has brought this out into the open for all of us to be able to carry on our roles and our responsibilities as a quilt. And when I first did that water walk in Sudbury, it was so beautiful because we only intended on thinking about the 7 grandfather teachings and the 4 directions. We wore different color t-shirts to represent. And as time went by, every year it grew, and all the First Nations people came and joined us. That because we moved that little urban center, all the women from the surrounding reserves came and joined and took teams in, and then we had a youth team, and then we had children meet us at that thing. So however we do things, it expands not just to us, but to the community, to our families, to our relatives that we want to be able to say, join us, because all women have that capability to give life next to the Creator. We're revered really high up there, next to Ichimanato, Jemnado, and because we have that capability to give life. So I'm so honored that whenever I'm asked to do anything, that I try my best with the best of teachings that I can recall, because I've had so many different teachers. And of course, we have all different ways of doing things. My young lady here I've known for a long, long time. I really believe that our young people need to be here at the forefront because they are the ones that are going to be next in line. We don't just look at our generation. We look at those ones coming behind us, that we leave a good trail for them, a good path to be able to learn from and to follow. Myself, I didn't have a path to follow because I ended up in the 60s group. I didn't have my mother. I didn't have my father. I didn't have my siblings. I was entrusted into a home where there were strangers, and I had to sit at a different table in that corner to eat dinner. I had to clean the floor, and I had to do all the different chores, household chores. I was like a maid. And I often wondered, why is that? And how come I'm different? And, nobody told me anything otherwise. I was stereotyped as stupid, squaw, slanderous names. And, even though I didn't know what those words meant, I felt the pain. Words carry pain with them. And I always tell people, we have been entrusted with the gift of our sacred medicine, our voice. What comes out of your mouth has the capability to heal or hurt. And working in the community, I've started to learn so much more about observing and helping and giving guidance. I don't tell people what to do. It's in the process of the journey that we get to feel what is right and what is wrong for us. So we had that sacred ceremony up the hill, the Samatam, our first sacred medicine. Then we have the cedar with the salt, Jacque. I always like to refer to our medicines by their Anishinaabe wording, or sage in that western direction, Moccasin, and the sweet grass, which is in that northern direction. And it represents mind, body, and spirit. We always carry in our bundle all of our sacred medicines, always, because we need to pay respect. We also need to have a relationship with them. You're not going to have a relationship with your medicines if you don't use them, if you only take them out once in a while when you think you need them. You need to use them every day and get to know them and their uses and their healing properties for you. And Hopi has given me some out to be able to come down here and do this. So we are going to honor the water by singing the Living Water song. Okay. So we always, as women, we always have copper cups that we use to bless our water at formal times. Everybody is asked to bring their own water, bring extra water for people that are in the hospital sick, those people that are not doing good with their mental health, that are suffering anxiety, depression, all those things that come to us in this time of COVID, especially because people are not allowed to go out and are fearful of each other and all these different things that come with that term fear. Fear is a form of control. And we've been controlled very good. Oh, and also a reminder that, it is the Identifier Strawberry Moon. Put that there as part of my bundle because we have to honor that day. And it's June, it's that Strawberry Moon, and it's a time of reconciliation, time of peace, time to invite families in that are not part of our inner circle right now. Maybe we have ostracized them because of our own judgments and our own preconceived notions of what is good in our own circles. So we welcome people home, letting go of self-righteousness and stuff like that, to come and feast with us and honor being a family unit again. So we're going to sing the Vivian song together. Okay, we're going to honor those 4 directions. Watermelon. So there's a beautiful little poem that I heard, and it's called Water Talks. My body is made up of water and was created in water. In a matter of months, all of the water in my body will flow back into the watershed. Meanwhile, my body replenishes itself with new water. A baby moose will drink my old water, which becomes their new water. And the water I am drinking now was once a family of great sturgeon fish that roamed the Great Lakes. The cycles and memories of everything on the planet runs through all of us. It is inescapable. Every plant, animal, insect, tree, blade of grass, and organism on the planet are all connected in such a deep and profound way. We cannot comprehend it. These connections are ancient and hold memories that existed billions of years before humans roamed the planet. Water has no race or preference and does not judge or take favorites, but decides to give life to everything. A river will flow for thousands of years and will give its everything to everything. Oceans do the same, as well as raindrops and tears. Water never stops flowing or giving life. Our eyes are made of water. The very gift of being able to see all of the beautiful creation is possible by seeing it through the lens of water. Water is our most sacred medicine, and our bodies are completely filled with it. Even sound is the voice of water communicating. A human body is a highly complex system with connections, communicating parts that are designed in water and only work in water. At every second, trillions of water electric connections are happening simultaneously in our bodies' work. Just think, our heart is a medicine pump. We are walking medicine. Nothing can heal without it. We are interconnected to a massive wave of life on the planet that has its foundation in the past, present, and future. Time as we know it does not exist in water, only energy. So we're going to go take a walk to that little jumper over there, and Candy is going to sing the Haudenosaunee water song for us. And we will put this vessel of water that we took out of the waters back here, back into that little stream. You know, a few years ago when we did this first water walk here, we walked all the way from the top and walked along the water edge here to come to this spot. And we've been coming to the same spot every year, and it's so beautiful. But at that time, we noticed when we got over here how murky and dirty the water was. You couldn't even see to the bottom of it. On a Saturday, we offered our prayer and songs and our tobacco, our sema. Next day, when we came down to drum for the water again, you could see to the bottom. That's how much of a miraculous thing happened with the water being respected and prayed for and acknowledged. So imagine what we could do as all human beings if we all got together and really did our best to acknowledge our planet. So, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, he's got something in his ear. Maybe. Opening.
Right there, Vivian. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go first if you want.
Okay, all right. Whatever. Be the tallest one. No. Make it? Oh, yeah. Otherwise, it's just I'm not coming there. Maybe I should take baby.
You want to come right to here?
Well, can you grab it? Can you
Yeah.
grab my hand?
I sure can.
Oh. I can do anything.
You can. You can.
This
Adjusted it very nice.
Okay. Okay. You can go with Uncle.
윤거는과 내가 윤거는과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 나이나야 해야 윤거는과 내가 윤거는과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 나이나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 너 날 나야 해야 영원과 내가 영원과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너 날 나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 요호 영원과 내가 영원과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 영원과 내가 영원과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 너 날 나야 해야 영원한 내가 영원한 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너 날 나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 날 나야 해야 요호 영원과 내가 영원과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 영원과 내가 영원과 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 영원한 내가 영원한 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 요호 영원한 내가 영원한 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 영원한 내가 영원한 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 요호 요호 왜하해 요호 요호 왜하해 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 영원한 내가 영원한 내가 너네가 운명 너네가 너로 날 나야 해야 yo we hare, yo we hare, gana gano, gana gano, gana we are here, yo.
So when, as women do their water walks, we would be walking all from the beginning, at the beginning point, following the waters and offering our sema and singing songs and making sure that bucket of water never stops because water doesn't stop flowing unless there's a dam or something stopping it. And water, you will see, goes through around the trees, under the trees, around the rocks, over the rocks, everything. And water reminds us of life because a lot of times life is like that, where we have to go through many obstacles in order to get to the sweetness of our life. And those are learning experiences for us that we have to go through. And there is that, knowing that we're not alone, that we can have people that we can fight for and some support, like the elders or people that know ceremonial things that can bring you to lighten your spirit up and lighten that load that you carry as a human being. So I'm going to ask Candy to put this water back into there. And that. We'll get back. And the more we learn about the beautiful teachings that we have as Anishinaabe people, the more spiritually connected and spiritually well we become. Our spirit rises to a beautiful place of living this life as a human. We are to remember that we're spirit on a human journey. And asking people to help God tell us, you know. Somebody told me one time, "You're not even human," and I said, "Well, thank you, I'm not." You know, I am a spirit on a human journey. So sometimes changing that wording so people get to understand and know the truth is some of the things that we teach as Anishinaabe people. Our Anishinaabe intelligence has been around since the beginning of time because we created what is from Mother Earth, as I was explaining this morning to Nanabujo and gently on Mother Earth. We have to learn everything about the different plants, the different waters, the different animals, the different birds, all of these beautiful things that were here. We became so connected with them that we knew which medicines to take. We knew which birds sang beautiful songs and for what reasons. And we also know that up there, he's traveling, teaching on the field, watching to see how we conduct our walk here and see if we're still respecting and following original instructions. And I often think about, you know, the birds. The birds are the ones that they sing their songs for. The birds that you see will go report to the higher ups, and the hawk will finally get an understanding, and they'll say, "Oh, you should have seen the beautiful ceremony you seen by the water." Tell the hawk, and the hawk will go tell the eagle, and the eagle will go take that up to the creator and let them know that, yes, the Anishinaabe people are still following the beautiful original instruction. And, you know, sometimes when I think about the eagle's journey, when people forgot their original teachers and strayed off the path, that the magazine was sent as a messenger to come and see if there was anybody conducting their ceremony still. And a little wisp of smoke that he found on the fourth day while he was flying back at Creator and letting him know that, you know, there was nobody smudging and offering that smoke in the morning or at night or offering prayers until he was on the fourth day, tired of traveling across Turtle Island and Mother Earth, looking for people that still did ceremony. And he was flying back, saddened, and saw in the corner of his eye that of the smoke coming out from the forest. So he flew there and he saw an old couple who was showing with their grandson, and they were offering smudge, and he went back to Creator. Found one person still carrying on the teachings, offering that smoke and prayer. So we were all spared again. So there's a few times that we we could have been all perished as human beings, and we have our ceremonies and our beautiful ways to be able to give thanks to for us being here. It's really rich. Mm-hmm.
This is met pieweed, he's met dandelion, he's met red clover. I'm sorry, his feet are soaked.
It's okay. So,
I brought him the change of clothes, so I could kind of figure something would happen.
okay, so
before we go, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the river we're standing in. So this is in Anishinaabe, it's called Quebec-on-Zibi, and Humber River. So this river shapes pretty much half of the Greater Toronto area. And the name of that river comes from what you actually see happening naturally right here. So a lot of times the names of the places that you're in, like Toronto, like Ontario, like Canada, all those names come from Indigenous languages. And I don't speak any of those, but in learning just a few words, and just those few words have really helped to open my mind to looking at things in a holistic way. So looking at, you heard those songs being sung in those 4 directions. That's what's being asked, is that we look at things all the way around, as much before, in front of us as behind us. So standing right here in the river is the story of Toronto. Standing right here in this river is the story of all those nations that you heard me acknowledge at the beginning of our ceremony. And so the way I heard it, Toronto is where there are trees standing in the water. You'll hear lots of talk about the water, driving the old Wendat way of putting fishing weirs, like driving trees, stakes into the water to funnel the fish so it's easy to catch. But having lived along this river for 40 years, I can see trees standing in the water. There are always trees standing in the water because, as you know, you maybe hear more from the Conservation Authority about the flooding that happens on all these rivers that shape our entire land. They're constantly moving up and down. And so that was observed from 5,000 years ago, that exact thing happening. And so the names of places connect with what is actually going on. And that name, Quebec-on, I talked to Miss Jacque about it because the best I found on a historical plaque was, leave the canoes and go back. It's the idea of a portage. And the other thing, though, in that word, though, there's the word for dam, the Anishinaabe word for dam. I think it's gabe. And it's in that word. And so this dam would happen where these trees would fall into the water. So you can see the erosion happening right behind us, that as the river moves back and forth in its natural way, these trees fall in. And so this natural dam would be created at the mouth of the Humber River, Quebec-on-Zibi. And that is exactly where Anishinaabe had a village. And that's exactly where this old time tradition of coming into somebody else's territory and lighting a little fire at the edge of that bush and saying, hey, we're here. And then just waiting, see who comes out to greet us. So in connecting to this river, and the reason that we're here talking today, and Vivian shared that beautiful story about the water clearing, that started like 3 years ago. And we started with that fire. And we started with that fire with all nations around it, and renewing that old ceremony of saying, hey, we're here and we're going to meet in a nice, equal, and kind way. So when I was growing up, I learned that Toronto was called meeting place, which is true. It is a meeting place, but that's not what Toronto means. Toronto means where there's trees standing in the water. And so I've heard a bunch of different stories about that. Haudenosaunee from Tyendinaga, he talked about when you paddle in across Lake Ontario and you see the Toronto Island. Joseph Brand. He said it looks like there's a log in the water. So it looks like there's a tree in the water as you come up to Toronto, the harbor there from across the lake. And so the names, pay attention to those names. Think about them, learn about them. Just learn those few simple words like Nanabojo, Kichimagwech, Gajamanado, that kind mystery. Because in them, there is this beautiful teaching of the place you are in. And that's true wherever you are on the planet. is Indigenous people have been watching and being in the land, connected on the land, connected to Mother Earth from time immemorial. And the secret is in that language and in that beautiful language. So right here in Quebecanong-Zizi, in the Garando, we're living it, we're feeling it, we're in it, and it's so beautiful to have you come and join in this kind of land-based distance link. So get you Magwetch for listening. Thank you. Ready to go lecture? Yep. So I think we're going to head back up. I think we're going to pass over to Diane. Okay.
That was a powerful experience with Grandma Vivian. Megawitch, that was amazing. I hope that you share with me a full heart of gratitude for the water walk. As Grandmother Vivian is coming back to the picnic shelter from the river, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the York Region Nature Collaborative and how we got started. And then we will be moving on to the jingle dancers and the big drummers. And you can probably hear them in the background. They're getting ready, and I'm just so excited. So again, I'm Diane Cashin. I am the coordinator of the York Region Nature Collaborative. Now, the York Region Nature Collaborative was started about 8 years ago under the sponsorship of the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. And we came together because we wanted to help young children, even the youngest children, with a focus on the early years, connect to the land and connect to nature. And so we've done amazing things in the last 8 years. We've done workshops and conferences, and we have this amazing event every fall called the Family Adventure Walk in the Forest right here at Courtright. So we're just thrilled to be here because this is an event like we've never had. Certainly when the pandemic started, we shifted to do webinars, and we've been doing Land as Teacher webinars, and I think we've done about 10 or 11 of them, and that's been amazing. We are so grateful for our relationship with Grandmother Jacque and Hopi Martin, who have really helped the York Region Nature Collaborative connect to the Indigenous people in a way that has brought them to this land, to Courtright, to Lake St. George, which is another beautiful spot that we have created a early years bush center. So we've been doing a lot of work in our path towards truth and reconciliation, and we're so grateful for the experience, because a worldview based on an Indigenous worldview is about early childhood education, about children, about education, about life, is something that we should all explore. So I am so very grateful, as I mentioned, to be here and to have this opportunity to share with you. Hopi Martin has this fabulous website called The Edge of the Bush, and I will put that into the chat room in just a moment. And that really will help you explain the Land as Teacher concept, the concept of a seasonal pedagogy, which has really been life-changing and transformational for me to learn. And we have just really loved sharing this with so many others. So it's just amazing to be here. I think we've got probably 70,000 people joining us. We're live streaming on Facebook. We're live streaming on YouTube. And of course, we're coming through Zoom. And many of you are sharing with your students in this virtual world of online learning and sharing your screens. So this has just been an incredible experience. We thank the government for the grant that has enabled this. And of course, we thank the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority for all their support from the get-go, from the beginning, when we started about 8 years ago. So as I mentioned, we will be moving into the big drums and the dancers. And this is a time for all of us to sit back and really absorb this experience. You can hear the drums are already starting. So I'm going to stop talking, and we'll probably have about a 5-minute pause for as we set the drums up and get the dancers in place. So enjoy. And once again, thank you so much for being here with us.
Gina takes grassings off? No. Gina takes grassings off. Let us know. You gotta give us the high sign. Ready, Coda? Yeah. let us know when we're ready. Ready? There's no stick man. Stick man's the cameraman. I'll wait for the high sign, Danny. You ready? Song? Next rock? Bonnie, we're gonna do a jingle dress song next. This dance is a pretty important dance. It's fairly new, but it has a beautiful meaning. And when a family member is struggling or community member is struggling, they can come up to these jingle dress dancers and they can offer them some tobacco and for their struggles. And what the jingle dress dancer will do is she'll take that tobacco and she'll pray with it as she's dancing. She'll pray for someone to come into that family member's life or that community member's life that's going to help them with their struggle. Okay? And that's what that dance is all about, that healing. It's going to be a straight song, girls. Want to do fancy one? Oh, fancy sound good? Fancy. So this style of dance is another fairly new style of dance. Didn't come out to around the 60s and 70s. And a long time ago, at the original powwows, it was just boys dancing at first, telling stories. First, the grass dancers came out and told their story. And the men's traditional dancers come out and told their story. Okay? And there was a show called the Wild Buffalo Bill West Show. And the girls wanted to showcase their style of dance too because they also went to war. Okay? The girls, they had these big pouches that they put ammunition in, and they lowered up rifles, stood right beside their husband. They wanted to tell their story. They wanted to go out there and dance too. So those girls took their shawls that were over their arms and they wrapped it around their shoulders. And they painted their face and they went out and they busted out moves and told their story. So some say these dancers kind of look like a butterfly when they're dancing. They're supposed to represent that butterfly. Some say when they spin, represent that tornado. So you guys, hope you enjoy. Woman's Fancy. So I just want to mention it's quite an honor to sing for these dancers here because every one of these dancers are out in our community. They dance for our elders. They don't ask for anything. They show up to the protests. They're there. All these dancers are there here in Toronto, so it's a really honor to sing for these guys. Our drum group's called the All Nation Juniors, and we started our group at Toronto Council Fire with about 8 youth. We can't bring them all out today because of the corona. Our next dancer we're having come on is going to be a chicken dancer. I'm going to have this guy explain about his style of dance and where it came from. And I've seen this guy dance before. He's really good. You guys enjoyed it. Talk a little bit. Yep.
Hello everyone, my name is Cheif Laforme. This is the Prairie Chicken Dance. It's a ceremonial dance out west, originally in the Alberta area, and we dance it to honor the prairie chicken and the sacrifices that were made. It is also a mating dance. That's where, if you watch a prairie chicken, they mimic like what we do. We mimic that mating dance, and what will happen is usually there's a female and two prairie chickens, and they'll kind of compete against each other to get that mate. And the reason we do this dance is because when colonization happened in the plains area, all of our bison was slaughtered, and that was to starve us out to deal with the Indian problem, is what they called it. And we asked the Creator to gift us something of sustenance. It got to the point where our people were starved, and we were eating our own moccasins. And with that, we kept praying, and eventually big flocks of prairie chickens started coming by the thousands to the plains region, and that was our sustenance. Our prayers were answered, and we give thanks in this way. We have a prairie chicken dance ceremony out west, but this is more powwow style. Uh, it's different because we don't do ceremonies in. We don't combine the two. There's a different style, and I'm a contemporary chicken dancer. I'm more of a, I guess, flashy and modern. The old style, they're more down to earth. They're more in one singular place, but the songs are pretty similar, and the styles that we dance are quite a bit. And this dance, it comes from the Plains region, the Blackfoot Confederacy. They're the ones who brought it up into powwow, and we have us, like I'm Plains Cree. We have our own lodges as well, but it's really similar to the Blackfoot peoples. Oh.
So I guess we'll do a closing song, right? Get all our dancers to come back out.
Same song, over and over again.
Talk a little bit about the drum before we do that closing song. That drum come around during a time when two nations were at war. It was the Ojibwe Nation and the Dakota Nation. Right? And a young lady had a dream of that drum. Right? She talked to her elders, talked to her chiefs, right? And they constructed this drum. It has two sides. One side represents the female, one side represents the male. That stitching in between represents the children to hold that family together. Right? That frame, it was made out of cedar, the first one. Right? And they put an eagle feather inside so that traders could hear our song. Right? You put an ancestor rock inside to Mother Earth to hear that vibration too. Right? And ever since then, that big drum has been doing its job. It's been bringing our people together in a peaceful way. We come together to celebrate around all throughout Turtle Island. Right? So now you go in Turtle Island where we have a powwow, you see that big drum. Different nations sitting around it, celebrating and dancing together in a big way. The last song we're going to sing today is these boys belong to the Southern Drum Group of AIM. So we're going to honor that AIM, the AIM song. Right? And that's how we're going to end all our events. That AIM song. I'll do it first. All right, I gotta work on getting home now, eh?
Unmute. All right, you're good.
I just don't know where to fly, so let's see
This
what's
is
going
going
on.
Nana Bonjour. Gajana Nana Dishtakas, Wabjeshi, Dodam Gaye. Hope you love Martin again. Jimmy much for listening. Unfortunately, we had Elder Carolyn King was going to speak from Mississaugas of the Credit, and I was really hoping that she could do this today, but we're having technical issues.
Will, are we all good here?
On the Zoom call, so we couldn't quite bring her in. She's watching, I know, and so this is like a big test for me to try to talk in a good way for talking about this beautiful project that she started. So I just do the best I can with my sound on my hand to talk a little bit about it. I'm carrying with me a talking stick, and this is one that came. It's connected to this big project we've been doing. It was gifted when we were putting these covers on these wigwams for the little ones. The firekeeper and I we were driving to go put those covers on, and I saw this flapping on the side of the road, and you could see those hawk wings blowing, and I thought it had been injured, hit by a car. And by the time we got over to it, it had already passed away. And so I put down some tobacco and brought it with us because it was right in the midst of us doing the ceremony for the little ones. And so Miss Jacque, she said, well, we could turn it into a talking stick, and so give it everlasting life. So it's a baby less than a year old, where before the red-tailed hawk gets its tail feathers, there's probably just a yearling. It was a very small one. And I've tied it here with the colors of the medicine bundle. It's called a memory teaching bundle that's been helping guide our project under Miss Jacque's teachings. And so I brought it with me because it really likes to come out and talk with the little kids. So when we finished putting this cover on and we finished this wigwam, all the little ones got to hold this and say their name. And just like I said, Nanabo, Jogajan, and they kind man and Paul. And they'd say their name and they'd say what they're grateful for, thankful for. So this beautiful nature school here, we've been trying to bring back some of those teachings. And so I reached out to, I've known Carolyn King, I guess, for a number of years now, but I reached out to her to create they're calling a site installation for the Moccasin Identifier project. And this was something that, as I understand it, she was inspired to do probably more than 10 years ago. And I think that the wording might be off, but the intent was that if we don't have a mark on the ground, like something to show that we've been walking here since time immemorial, then we'll be forgotten. And so the effort to put these moccasins down is about that, so that when people see them, they go, oh, what's going on here? So we decided to do this for the little ones here, but to do it in a way that it's kind of like an adventure or a little game. And so I want to show you, we're going to take a little walk in behind this wigwam here to a place that the kids love to play. Jasmine Green, one of the teachers here, she's when we were talking about where to do this, she said, well, the kids love to go and play in these red pines in behind here. So wherever you are, you've probably seen those row-on-row plantings of red pines that were a reforestation project of I don't know how many odd years ago, conservation way of doing things. And they're little kids love to play in them. And so sure enough, in behind here, they have that. And so we made a little path of flagstones that we put in earlier where we can put on these moccasin footprints. And so if you look here, these moccasin stencils that we've got in here are of 4 of the nations that are represented here in Ontario. We've got the Cree, Seneca, Algonquin, and Wendat. And we also have, I think, an Ojibwe one as well. And we've got a few different of those ones that we're going to put down here. And so there's a whole story that goes to that. And I know the stencil was done by the Ojibwe artist Philip Cote, based on the moccasins that they've got at the Bata Shoe Museum. So he did some historical research to get the moccasins to match that. The interesting thing about moccasins is that they actually, the art of them or the creation of them matches the land they're from. So I don't know the story of all those different nations, but I just know that I've heard it said about the Ojibwe, the way they're bunched at the toe. So they're bunched up at all, it's like one piece of hide, and then they're bunched like this. And it looks like tree roots. And I've heard some people talk about Ojibwa being the, because our job is to remember the ceremonies, it's like remembering our roots and remembering where we've come from. And so that teaching is actually right into the footwear, into the moccasin. And it's also a low moccasin, because if you look in this beautiful understory that we're walking in, you don't need the same height as you might if you were farther up in the bush in the Cree country. It's just a different style of living, way of being. And so the footwear actually matches that. I don't have all those teachings, but just a little bit that I've heard. And it'd be so great if you could listen to Carolyn King, who I was so proud of because she was named to the Order of Canada for this work. That's made a huge difference. That's spreading awareness across this whole territory. And so I really wanted this to come to the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, who's in charge of 46,000 acres of GTA land. And I'm really, really glad that we're able to do this and able to partner with the Mississaugas with credit, because I know that there's also a land claim for all of the floodplains by the Mississaugas, because those were never part of the Toronto Purchase Treaty. And so putting this mark down is like is a really good first step, just like inviting the chief, just like having Daryl speak at the beginning of what we're asking for, which is nation to nation interactions. That's sitting in that around that sacred fire, and everybody saying, you know, who they are, where they're from, where their heart's at. So here we are. We're going to take a little adventure. We're going to go into the bush here, and we've got some volunteers who might want to introduce themselves and where they're from to put down these little footprints. Oh, but one other thing, we also decided to do it in orange, and we're doing it in orange for those little ones that are now, their bodies are finally being found and returned home. And I get teared up about it, but I know when we did ceremony for them, you could hear them laughing, and they're happy, and they're dancing, because finally they're going home. So we're going to do all these in orange. This is my friend Anne. Anne, do you want to say who you are and where you're from?
Nana Bojo, and coming from Mississaugas, Toronto and Donjaba, but I currently live in Manitoulin Island, Minado, Minising. Really proud to be up on the island, and it's very emotional to be here today for many reasons. It's a real privilege to be here. And to hear the drums, to be a part of the ceremony, to honor those children who have passed, and to feel how grateful this land is to be recognized in the ceremony, and to just feel like that ceremony is honoring everything here, all the children, all the space, all the living creatures here. And so it touched me deeply, and I'm really privileged and happy to be here and to help represent, to be a supporter and helper. So Chinigwich, gonna put our mark here on the moccasins.
How does it work? Just press it. Okay. So if you're interested in getting these moccasin template kits, I know you can, perhaps somebody can put the link in the chat for the Moccasin Identifier project. And I know that they're working on getting these kits out to lots of different schools and organizations. And it's a great activity that gets you outside on the land, connects to the history, what's past. But as I said earlier, it also connects to that 360-degree vision of, well, what are you going to do now?
And this is something you can do because it's bringing that awareness. And of course, if you can make it like a game like this for the kids, how cool. But here we go. Let's see if I can get it right. So I think that one is, maybe Carolyn, I don't know if you have access to your chat, but maybe you can say which one is which. I'm thinking that might be, maybe I'll look at the guide. Is that one? This one's the Cree. What's this one? I think we've got a few different kits here. Oh, this one's Seneca. So that's Seneca footprint. We got a Cree one, and we got a few more over here. We come down our little path. Oh, miigwech. Yeah, so we want to spray one? Okay, thanks. Which one have we got here? Is this one? I got my guide here, my cheat sheet. This is Wendat. Earlier this year, we planted a garden just over here, a medicine garden. And my friend Isaac Crosby from Anderton First Nation came and helped us with that. And he's Ojibwe and Wendat. And the thing that was so cool is here he comes coming back to plant on this land here. I know there's a Wendat village just down the river here, and I've been waiting to get a tour from somebody about that. But it was so beautiful then to be planting the sacred. They were planting a Three Sisters garden just behind here. We're doing that with Wendat ancestors. So here we are putting the Wendat footprint down and remembering. So which one's this one here? We've got Wendat, and then this one must be. Look at the guide. Cree. Wache, Wache. Cree brothers and sisters. And with that one we got is Algonquin. So smudge it. I actually like the overspray. I think it looks kind of cool. We got any more dry spots? Okay.
Emma, would you be okay holding the camera up to one of them when the next one is sprayed, just so we can see it up close as well and hold the camera there for us? That'd be ideal.
Very close to it.
And just hold it there for a couple of seconds.
There's an Algonquin moccasin. Oh, here we've got another Cree one over here. We were hoping to have some young kids come, but I think the rain scared them away. We have some of our family members to come and join us. But I guess it's toxic paint, so it's probably good not to. I know the camera's got to keep a distance, make sure they don't get any on it. Oh, I have something I could share about these red pines. I mean, everyone has different teachings. And so when you're learning about these things, it's always important. Like I said, that's why I start with saying who I am and where I'm from. And my teachings are coming through that Ojibwe line through my aunt. So this is coming from her. But the red pine, as I understand it, is it has a warrior teaching to it. And as Martin clan, Wabajeshi, we are the warrior clan and protectors of the nation. And so there's different medicines, there's different connections or relationships to different plants that grow naturally in the land that we're in. And so some of those warrior medicines are the ones that have those spikes on them, that have those sharp points. And so if you look at the red pine, it's one of the most powerful ones because it's got the longest spikes to it. And the teaching that I just wanted to share about that is that the way I heard it was that the roots of the red pine go as far down as they go up. And these roots are, instead of doing the spread that you get with like a white pine, which is another warrior teaching, the roots of these go straight down into the earth. And so they have a really deep root so that when those winds blow, when those challenges of life come, that red pine will stay up. So I just wanted to share that because oftentimes when we're talking about land-based teaching, it's always looking just to what's on the surface. But there's a whole other half of the story which is below the surface. So when you look at a tree, and like we're standing in the trees right now, we're on the earth, but we're in the tree because the tree extends all the way below us as above us. And so I think that's a really beautiful thing to have these young children then get to be able to come and play in this beautiful place. But then what we're really interested in doing and partnering with the TRCA is to get those types of teachings so that whether you're from, you're Asian, you're Indigenous, you're Black, or you're white, or you're some beautiful rainbow mix of all those things, you are able to talk about what is here and what has always been here and acknowledge where it comes from. So there's a lot of people who are fearful to say, well, I don't want to appropriate that knowledge. It's to say, well, this is who I heard it from. This is how I heard it, and this is what it connects to. So you hear in my talk, a lot of times I'm saying, this is how I heard it. And I say, this is from my teacher. And in that way, it's respectful then. We don't want this stuff to be forgotten. We don't want the teachings of those moccasins to be forgotten. We want them to be remembered. And in fact, we want them to be picked up by the little kids so that then they go and they'll see those prints somewhere else and say, hey, we had that at my nature school. Oh, I know that. And they're going to go tell their mummies and daddy, oh, that one's Cree, that one's Wendat, that one's Ojibwe. And then we have the best kind of learning that there can be, which is holding hands. It's intergenerational. A lot better than having a person just tell you in this kind of format. It's actually the best when you can hold the hand of that little one and learn with them, alongside them. So that's a little bit of the teachings that I hope are coming into this space and into this beautiful red pine forest. So Miigwech for listening, and we're going to head back over, I think, to to do the closing ceremony over with Gokamis by the sacred fire. Miigwech. Mama P, Carolyn. Are we still on?
for the for the closing, if you can film like from over the shoulder for the ceremony part.
Open up to those. We're having a closing. Sarah. We're having a closing. Bishan Mampli, we're having a closing. Everybody needs to come. I know. That's okay. What are those ones over there? Are they not a part of everybody? No. Okay.
They're not, I think they're from somewhere else.
I know. We just shut them off. No, I'm kidding. Okay, the closing. Anishinaabe closing is just as important as the opening ceremony. This is where we tell all spirits that connected up with us today that it's okay, they can go someplace else, but we're going to have food. But we're going to have food. Yeah. So it's really very simple. It's not long. It's not a long story. It's fairly short. We say Gitchimigwech to the great creator of all things. We often, not yet. We say thank you to the Eastern Direction for all the work that they do. They bring the summertime. Grandfather Sun comes up there, Grandmother Moon comes up there, and it's where the nighttime starts. Say Kichimigwech to the Southern Direction. Thank you to the Southern Direction for all the work that it does. They're in control of the relationship. We say Kichimigwech, thank you to the Western Direction for helping all the people who are passing through this doorway to move into spirit world in a good way with blessings. We say Gitchimigwech to the Northern Direction for all the work that is done from that way. It's where all the healing comes from. It don't come from the east. It don't come from the south. It does not come from the west. It comes from the Northern Direction. And our circle symbolizes and makes connection with all of those directions. The eastern doorway always has that place that's open. The southern direction, it's this one over here. It's this one over here making noise. Southern direction is in charge of relationship. It's how we address our children, how we address our parents, how we address the animals, how we address the flyers, how we address Sky World. It was with the greatest thank yous in our hearts. We say Gitchimigwech to our beautiful Mother Earth, because from her comes everything. Does not come from outer space. Maybe we find rocks occasionally come from outer space. Come from outer space. They're called meteors. Everything we eat comes from her. Everything we drink comes from her. All the blessings come from her. All the bugs live there all winter. They come out in the summertime. Yeah, and they make fun of us. They bite us. They make us itchy. Do all of the. They tease us, and that's to say that they're telling us we're still human beings. We still have blood flowing in our veins. It's not water and it's not clear. We say thank you to all of the ones that are underneath the earth, the ones that live there, crawl around there, make their homes there, have their babies there. They aerate the soil. They make it really easy for our Mother Earth to breathe. Then we send our thoughts up to Sky World. And we say big thank you to the dancers, the Northern Lights, Wawasnode. We say thank you to Nimkinakawagan, to the Thunderbird Scarf, that beautiful rainbow that happens after the rain. It tells us there's hope for everything. Beauty time. After your sorrow, there's a beauty time. We look to the night sky again, we see that beautiful Milky Way going across here. Anishinaabe call that Gichtamikan, the Warrior's Road. Takes a year for us to get from this doorway up to the sky world. We call out to the grandmothers and the grandfathers from the 4 directions. Those people who deal with kindness and gentleness and love, respect, unification happens in Sky World. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to say it all in Anishinaabe. You can say those words in Anishinaabe if you like. It is up to you. But this is how we learn. In Anishinaabe territory, a long time ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, there was no English spoken in our lodges. Just Anishinaabe Moen, just Cree. Just our own languages were spoken in those places. So, we say, Nanabojo Gijamanado. Get your miigwech. Wabanung Nikang, get your miigwech. Jawanung Nikang, get your miigwech. Ningabian Nikang, get your miigwech. Iwednung Nikang, get your miigwech. Dodoma can't get your miigwech. Nameing, get your miigwech. Nameing, under the skin of the earth. Nameing. 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 Yes. Nameing is how you say that word. Chishbiming. Get your miigwech. Wawas no de, get your miigwech. Nimki napkawagan, get your miigwech. Get your tamikan, get your miigwech. Nahau mishom sananik, nok misnanik ibin gamampi. Get your miigwech, gi na the moshnam. Gi we do krishnam. No, gi we do krishnam. Gi wena mishnam. Haja wena mishnam, jemenadoja wena mishnam. Haja wena mishnam, jemenadoja wena mishnam. Haja wena mishnam, jemenadoja wena mishnam. Haja wena mishnam, jemenadoja. Ho ni kanigana for all my relations. So we can send up a travel song one more time. And we're singing to those spirits that we just said Chimigwech to. It's a women's traveling song. You all know this song. I'm saying that, I automatically think everybody knows this song. I mean, it's been floating around for about 10 years, 11 years. Everybody should know this song. Okay. Here we go. Bejik, Niche, Swat, Newen. Way, hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, hey, oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, hey, oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh. Way, hey, 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 oh. Now get your me gwet, me giggle, Kanaria. Four times. Some more. More. Louder. Now how? All finished. So now we get to eat.
Oh, I did a feast thing. Yeah.
No, he's supposed to do that. He's the fire keeper, not you. The fire keeper does it. Always.
I've seen you. Because he said.